Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Mia and Simon podcast. Today, we start a brand new series all about one big idea. I'm Simon.
And I am Mia. Today's question is simple. Why do grammar rules freeze your brain when you try to speak?
Great question. Let's imagine a real situation. You're standing in front of a stranger. They ask you, "What did you do yesterday?" Your brain instantly searches past tense. Did I add ed? Is this regular or irregular? Wait, was it continuous? By the time you finish searching, 5 seconds have passed in silence.
And that silence feels terrible, right? The stranger is waiting, your heart is beating fast, your face turns red, all because your brain is busy doing grammar math instead of simply talking.
This is what we call the freeze. It happens because grammar rules are stored in a different part of your brain than natural speech. Rules live in your logical, analytical brain. Speech lives in your instinctive, automatic brain.
When you try to speak using rules, you are using the wrong tool. It's like trying to run a race while stopping every 2 steps to check a map. You will never run smoothly that way.
Think about typing on a keyboard. When you first learned typing, you looked at every key. Slow, careful, thinking hard. But now, your fingers move automatically. You don't think about where the letters are. Speech should work the same way.
Exactly. Fluent speech is automatic, not calculated. And grammar rules, no matter how well you memorize them, stay calculated forever, unless you change your approach completely.
Let's look at another example. Imagine a student who studied if clauses for 3 months. They know the rule perfectly on paper. First conditional, second conditional, third conditional, all memorized. But in conversation, they still freeze, because rules and speech are stored differently in the brain.
This is incredibly common. Many advanced learners can pass written grammar tests with high scores, yet they still struggle in real conversations. This proves that knowing rules and speaking fluently are two very different skills.
So what's happening in a fluent speaker's brain instead? Their brain has heard thousands of correct sentences. It has built strong, automatic patterns. When they speak, the right pattern simply appears, instantly, without conscious rule checking.
This is wonderful news for everyone listening. It means you don't need a better memory for rules. You need more exposure to real, correct sentences, repeated again and again, until your brain builds the same automatic patterns.
In this series, we will show you exactly how to build those patterns, step by step, without opening a single grammar textbook.
If this idea is new and exciting for you, hit like and subscribe. This series will change how you think about learning forever.
Share this with someone who always says, "I know the rules, but I still can't speak." This part explains exactly why that happens to them.
In our next part, we will look closely at how small children master English without learning a single rule.
Get ready.
How children learn without rules. So Simon, let's look at the greatest language teacher in the world, a small child.
Think about any 3-year-old child growing up in an English-speaking home. They speak clearly, they argue with their parents, they ask for snacks, but have they ever opened a grammar book?
Never. They don't know what a verb is, they don't know what a noun is, they have zero formal education, yet their English is completely natural and correct, full of feeling and meaning.
So how does this happen? The secret is simple. Massive listening, followed by repeated attempts to speak, followed by gentle correction through real-life feedback, not classroom instruction.
From the moment a baby is born, they hear English constantly. Parents talking, television playing, songs singing, people laughing around them. For almost 2 full years, the baby mostly listens without speaking many words at all.
This stage is so important, Mia. The baby's brain is quietly building patterns, even though nothing seems to be happening on the outside. It's like a sponge slowly soaking up water, drop by drop, every single day.
Then, slowly, the child starts speaking. First single words, milk, mama, no. Then short phrases, want milk, no more. Then full sentences develop naturally, without any grammar lesson involved at any point in this process.
And here's the key part. When the child makes a mistake, like saying, "I goed to the park," Nobody gives them a grammar lecture. The parent simply responds naturally, maybe saying, "Oh, you went to the park? That's fun."
The child hears the correct form again inside a natural, real conversation. Slowly, through repeated natural correction, went replaces goed, without any formal teaching or explanation at all.
This process is called natural acquisition, and it works for any age, not just children. Adults can use this exact same method by listening heavily first, then speaking, then noticing natural corrections through real conversations.
Of course, adults can learn faster in some ways because they already understand how language works in general, and they have stronger memory and pattern recognition skills than babies do.
But the core method remains the same. Input first, output second, correction through real use, not memorized charts or written exercises completed silently in a notebook.
Let's give you a practical takeaway. Spend more time listening to real English than studying rules. Podcasts, shows, conversations, songs. Let your brain absorb patterns the same way a child's brain naturally does, every single day.
Then speak, even with mistakes, and let real conversations gently correct you over time, exactly like a child experiences with their parents and family members every single day, without fear or pressure.
Here's something fascinating, too. Children rarely get explicitly corrected for grammar mistakes. Parents almost never say, "No, that's the wrong tense, try again." Instead, they simply model the correct version naturally, within the flow of conversation.
This soft, natural correction is far more powerful than direct criticism. It keeps the child talking, confident and unafraid while still absorbing the correct pattern quietly in the background without any stress at all.
Adult learners can recreate this exact environment too. Surround yourself with patient native speakers or language partners who naturally respond rather than correct harshly. This builds both confidence and correctness together, side by side.
If this comparison helped you understand fluency differently, hit like and subscribe. We are building a smarter, more natural way to learn, together, step by step.
Share this with a parent or learner who still believes grammar books are the only way to learn a language properly, even though children prove otherwise every single day.
Next time, we explore a powerful comparison. Learning to speak is exactly like learning to drive a car, step by step through real practice.
You won't want to miss that one.
Why practice beats theory? Let's explore one of our favorite comparisons ever, Mia.
Imagine someone wants to learn how to drive a car. They buy a thick book about engines. They read about pistons, fuel injection, and transmission systems for 3 full years.
After 3 years of reading, do you think this person can drive well? Of course not. They might know everything about how an engine works, but they have never actually touched a steering wheel.
This is exactly what happens with grammar-only English learners. They study sentence structure deeply. They understand the theory perfectly, but they have barely practiced actually speaking in real live situations.
Driving a car requires muscle memory. Your hands must know where to turn. Your foot must know when to brake, automatically, without thinking. This only comes through real practice, sitting in the driver's seat again and again.
Speaking English requires the exact same thing: mouth memory, brain memory, built only through real practice, not theory. You cannot build this through reading alone, no matter how detailed the book is.
Think about your first driving lesson. It probably felt scary and awkward. You made mistakes. Maybe you stalled the car. Maybe you turned too sharply. But each mistake taught your body something theory never could.
The same happens with speaking. Your first conversations will feel scary and awkward too. You will make mistakes, but each mistake teaches your mouth and brain something that silent grammar study never could.
Here's an important point. Nobody learns to drive perfectly from day one. You don't expect perfection immediately. You expect gradual improvement through repeated, real practice over weeks and months.
Apply that same patience to speaking English. Don't expect grammar-perfect sentences from day one. Expect gradual, natural improvement through repeated, real conversations over time.
Let's go further with this analogy. A driving instructor sits beside you, gently correcting you in real time. Slow down here. Turn earlier next time. This live correction during real practice is incredibly powerful.
This is exactly why speaking with real people, even imperfectly, beats silent grammar study every single time. Real conversations give you live, natural correction, exactly like a driving instructor does.
There's another important point here, too. A nervous new driver who avoids the road for years never actually improves. Their fear keeps growing, not shrinking, the longer they wait to practice.
The exact same thing happens with speaking. The longer you avoid real conversations, waiting to feel ready, the bigger your fear actually becomes. Action reduces fear. Avoidance increases it.
So here's today's challenge. Find one short conversation today with a friend, a language partner, even yourself in the mirror. Practice speaking, not studying rules, even for just 5 minutes.
Small, real practice sessions, repeated daily, will build your speaking skills far faster than any thick grammar textbook ever could, no matter how detailed or well organized that book might be.
If this driving comparison made things clearer for you, hit like and subscribe. Practical comparisons like this are what our podcast is all about.
Share this with someone who has studied grammar for years but still feels nervous speaking in real situations, still waiting for that imaginary ready moment to arrive.
Next time, we ask a deeper question. Why did schools force us to study rules in the first place?
That's a story you need to hear. Why schools teach rules. Let's dig into something controversial today, Simon. The traditional school system.
Let's ask an honest question. Why did schools spend so many years teaching us grammar rules, charts, and tables instead of real conversation practice?
The answer is simple but uncomfortable. Schools are built around exams, not real-life communication, and grammar rules are very easy to test on paper with clear right and wrong answers.
Think about it. A multiple-choice grammar question has one correct answer. It's easy to grade, easy to score, easy to measure on a report card. But real conversation, it's messy, flexible, and hard to grade with a simple checkmark.
So schools naturally focused on what's easy to measure, grammar rules, vocabulary lists, written tests, not because it's the best way to learn, but because it's the easiest way to test large groups of students.
This created what we call the academic illusion. Students believe that scoring well on grammar tests means they will speak fluently. But these are actually two very different skills, often poorly connected to each other.
We've personally met students with near-perfect grammar test scores who still freeze completely during simple conversations. And we've met fluent, confident speakers who would fail a formal grammar exam, yet communicate beautifully in real life.
This proves something important. Grammar knowledge and speaking ability are not the same thing. You can have one without the other, and schools rarely separate these two skills clearly for students.
Another reason schools focus on grammar, large classrooms make speaking practice difficult. Imagine 30 students in one room. The teacher cannot give each student enough individual speaking time during a 50-minute class.
So grammar worksheets become the easy solution. Everyone can complete them silently, individually, while the teacher manages the whole classroom at once. It's practical for teaching large groups, even if it's not ideal for real fluency.
There's also a financial side to this, Simon. Speaking practice needs small groups, trained conversation teachers, and a lot of time. Grammar worksheets are cheap, scalable, and easy to mass produce for an entire country's curriculum.
This isn't to say grammar knowledge is completely useless. It can help with writing, with understanding complex texts, with formal situations. But it should never replace real speaking practice as the main learning method.
If you grew up in a school system like this, please don't feel discouraged. It's not your fault that you weren't given enough speaking practice. The system simply wasn't designed around that goal.
The good news is you can fix this gap yourself, starting today, by shifting your focus toward listening and speaking practice instead of more grammar study.
Some modern schools are slowly changing this approach too, adding more speaking activities and conversation clubs. But for most of us who already finished school, the responsibility now falls on our own daily habits.
If this explanation helped you understand your own learning journey better, hit like and subscribe. Understanding the why makes the how much easier to follow.
Share this with someone who feels frustrated, wondering why years of school English never made them fluent.
Next time, we explore the real solution, how listening input actually builds your grammar naturally without rules.
This is where everything starts coming together.
The real way to absorb grammar. If grammar rules don't build real fluency, what does, Mia?
The answer is one simple word: input. Specifically, massive listening input.
Let's explain this clearly. Every time you hear a correct English sentence, your brain quietly notices the pattern, even without you consciously trying to memorize anything.
For example, if you hear, "I have been waiting for an hour," many times in different situations, your brain slowly understands when and how to use that pattern without ever learning the term present perfect continuous.
This is called implicit learning. Your brain absorbs patterns in the background, similar to how you recognize a friend's voice instantly without consciously analyzing their voice's pitch or tone.
Compare this to explicit learning, which is what grammar books use. Explicit learning means consciously memorizing a rule, like add ed for past tense. This creates slow, calculated knowledge, not fast, automatic speech.
Research on language learning consistently shows that heavy listening input, especially understandable input, builds stronger, more natural language skills than memorizing rules alone.
So, what should you actually listen to? Choose content slightly above your current level, but still understandable overall. Podcasts, YouTube videos, TV shows, real conversations, anything with natural, authentic English.
The key word here is understandable. If content is too difficult, your brain can't absorb patterns properly. If it's too easy, you won't learn anything new. Find that comfortable middle zone.
Here's a simple practice method. Choose one short video or podcast clip today. Listen to it 3 times. First time, just enjoy it. Second time, notice interesting sentences. Third time, try repeating sentences out loud.
This repeated listening builds incredibly strong patterns over time. After enough exposure, certain grammar structures will simply sound right or sound wrong to you, without needing to recall any formal rule.
This is exactly how native speakers operate every single day. They don't recall rules, they recognize sounds. He don't like it simply sounds wrong to them, even if they can't explain the grammar rule behind it.
You can build this same instinct at any age through consistent listening input, repeated daily over weeks and months, building stronger and stronger natural patterns.
It also helps to listen to the same content more than once across different days, not just within one sitting. Repetition spread across time strengthens memory far better than repetition all at once.
Remember, this isn't instant magic. It takes consistent, repeated exposure, just like a child needs years of listening before speaking fluently. But unlike a child, you can speed up this process with focused daily listening sessions.
If this listening method makes sense to you, hit like and subscribe. We're building real, practical tools for your fluency journey together.
Share this with someone who has tried grammar books for years without real speaking improvement. This could be the missing piece they need.
Next time, we talk about confidence and how to build it without relying on grammar charts at all.
Confidence is everything, and we'll show you how. Building confidence without grammar charts. Now let's talk about something every learner desperately needs, Mia. Real confidence.
Many learners believe confidence comes from knowing more rules. If I just learn one more grammar chart, I'll finally feel ready to speak. But this belief actually works backward.
True confidence doesn't come from knowledge stored in your head. It comes from actual experience, real attempts, real conversations, even messy and imperfect ones.
Think about any skill you're already confident in. Maybe cooking, maybe driving, maybe a sport. Did that confidence come from reading books about it, or did it come from actually doing it repeatedly over time?
Exactly. Confidence is built through repeated action, not repeated theory. The more times you attempt something, even with mistakes, the more comfortable and natural it starts to feel.
This is why someone with limited grammar knowledge but lots of speaking practice often feels more confident than someone with perfect grammar knowledge but almost zero speaking practice.
Let's give a clear example. Imagine 2 learners. Learner A studies grammar charts for 1 hour daily but never speaks to anyone. Learner B speaks with people for 15 minutes daily, making plenty of mistakes but practicing constantly.
After 6 months, who do you think feels more confident in real conversations? Almost always, learner B, because confidence grows through real, repeated exposure to real speaking situations, not silent study alone.
Here's a powerful mindset shift. Instead of thinking, I need to know more before I speak, try thinking, I need to speak more before I know more.
Flip your priority completely. Speaking practice should come first. Grammar refinement, if needed at all, can come naturally afterward through noticing patterns during real conversations.
Another confidence booster, celebrate small wins. Did you successfully order coffee in English today? That's a win. Did you understand a joke in an English video? That's a win too.
Stop measuring your progress only through grammar test scores. Start measuring it through real, lived moments of successful communication, no matter how small they might seem.
Confidence also grows through repeated exposure to the same type of situation. The 10th time you order food in English will always feel easier than the first time, regardless of your grammar knowledge.
So seek out repeated, similar speaking opportunities. Same type of small talk, same type of simple questions, repeated often. This builds confidence through pure familiarity and repetition.
It also helps to keep a small mental list or even a written list of conversations that went well. On nervous days, looking back at this list reminds you of real proof that you already can do this.
Confidence isn't the absence of nervousness either. Even fluent speakers feel nervous sometimes in new situations. Confidence simply means acting despite that nervousness, instead of letting it stop you completely.
If this confidence-building approach feels refreshing to you, hit like and subscribe. We want you to feel proud and confident, not anxious and stuck.
Share this with someone who avoids speaking because they feel not ready yet. This part might be exactly what they need to hear today.
In our final part of this chapter, we'll look at real living proof that fluency is absolutely possible without ever touching a grammar textbook.
Get ready for some truly inspiring stories. Real fluency without textbooks. Throughout history and even today, millions of people have become completely fluent in English without ever opening a single grammar textbook.
Think about immigrant communities around the world. Many adults move to English-speaking countries with zero formal grammar education. Within a few years, through daily exposure and necessity, they become naturally fluent speakers.
They didn't study verb tenses. They didn't memorize sentence structures. They listened constantly, at work, at shops, with neighbors. They spoke constantly, making mistakes, getting corrected naturally through real life.
Think also about multilingual children growing up in mixed households, naturally speaking 2 or 3 languages fluently, without ever separating formal grammar lessons for each individual language.
Even successful international content creators and entrepreneurs often mention learning English mostly through movies, music, and conversations, not through formal classroom grammar study, especially during their early learning years.
This proves something incredibly important. Fluency and formal grammar education are not the same requirement. One does not strictly need the other, even though schools often suggest otherwise.
Of course, this doesn't mean grammar knowledge has zero value. For academic writing, formal documents, or advanced exams, understanding grammar terminology can certainly help in specific situations.
But for everyday speaking, for real conversations, for genuine fluency and confidence, the proven path remains the same. Heavy listening, repeated speaking practice, and patient tolerance for natural mistakes along the way.
Let's summarize everything we've covered in this chapter. Grammar rules can freeze your brain during real conversations because rules and speech live in different parts of your mind.
Children prove that massive listening, followed by natural speaking attempts, builds fluency without any formal rules at all, through pure natural exposure and gentle correction.
Just like driving a car, speaking English requires real practice, not just theory, building muscle memory through repeated, real attempts, not silent study alone.
Schools focused on grammar mainly because it's easier to test, not because it's the best path to real fluency, creating what we called the academic illusion.
Listening input quietly builds your internal grammar sense, allowing you to recognize correct patterns naturally without consciously recalling formal rules during conversations.
And true confidence comes from repeated real action, not from accumulated theoretical knowledge sitting unused inside grammar books.
This is the complete foundation of our philosophy. Stop studying grammar as your main method. Start listening and speaking as your main method, starting today.
If this entire chapter changed how you think about learning English, hit like and subscribe. This is just the beginning of your new journey.
Share this complete chapter with anyone still trapped in the rule trap, still waiting to feel ready enough before speaking.
Thank you for joining us through all 7 parts of this chapter. See you in our next chapter with brand new secrets to fluency.
Bye, everyone. And remember, speak first, perfect later.